I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul.
Welcome back to Testamina Learning Links, your link to learning. I'm Mrs. Hanson and I'm one of the CCLC tutors with the Kasilof Boys and Girls Club. So today we're going to be studying multiplication with decimals. And this is going to be one of our last multiplication videos for a little while. We've had a ton. We've had 2 by 1 digit, 3 by 1 digit, 2 by 2 digit, 3 by 2, and 3 by 3 digit, and now we're going to do multiplication with decimals. So hopefully after watching this series, you guys will be pros. Okay, so if you're following along at home, grab a piece of paper, a pencil, or a whiteboard so you can learn by doing and not just by watching. Okay, let's get started. So our first problem is going to be 2.8 or 2 8/10 times 3. And to start off, you'll notice I only have 1 decimal point in here, and that's okay. And when you set up your problem, you're still going to put that decimal point in there, and I'm going to show you what we do with it, okay? So this is what it's going to look like. So first, with multiplication with decimals, we're actually going to ignore the decimals, and we're going to multiply just like normal, and then we're going to add them in the end, depending on how many we have and how many place values that we're working with. Okay, so let's multiply like normal, like I said. So we're going to go up. 3 times 8 is 24. I'm going to put my 4 here, carry my 2, and then I'm going to go over, multiply, and add. So 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. Okay, so if this problem was 28 times 3, we would have the answer 84. So our numbers are right, but we don't have a decimal point in there, and we need to get one in there. So like I said, we just ignored the decimals, but now it's time that we pay attention to them. So you'll see that when I have my decimal place, it's going to be in between my ones place and my tenths place, okay? And I went over by 1. If I start at the very end or the very last digit, I went over 1 place value. So when you add the decimal back into your answer, you're going to start at the number that's in the last place value and move 1 over. Because I only had 1 up here, okay? And I'll show you what to do if you have multiple decimals. But for now, that's what we do if we just have 1 and it's only 1 place value over. So the answer to 2.8 times 3 is 8.4 or 8 4/10. Okay, so we're going to do another one too with a little bit more decimals involved. But first, let's do our easy peasy math fact of the day. So we're losing daylight, and I'm sure as you guys can tell. And I don't know what the actual minutes are, so don't quote me on this, but let's just say that today we lost a minute of daylight. Tomorrow, we lost twice as many minutes of daylight as today. How many minutes of daylight will we lose tomorrow? Okay, there's your easy peasy math fact. So now let's set up our next problem, and that's going to be 4.1 times 5.6. So you can set that up here. Okay, so 4.1 times 5.6, and let me make this a little bigger for you guys, or 4 1/10 times 5 6/10. Okay, so we're going to go up and over and then over and up. We're going to ignore the decimal points. We're going to pretend like this is just 41 times 56, and then at the end, we will pay attention to them and add them back into our answer. So up, 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 4 is 24. Okay, now we're going to add our 0 here to account for the tens place. 5 times 1 is 5. And then 5 times 4 is 20. Okay, just like regular multiplication, we're going to add it up. So 6 plus 0 is 6. 4 times 5 is 9. 4 plus 5 is 9. My goodness, I keep making all sorts of mistakes. That's okay. So 4 plus 5 is 9. 2 plus 0 is 2. And then bring the 2 down. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at our last digit, just like before. And we're going to see how many places the decimal value is from that. So in this case, it's just 1. And in this case, it's 1 as well. But we have to account for both of those decimal points. So we have 1 here and 1 here. So we're going to add those together. 1 plus 1 is 2. So we're going to move that over 2 places in our answer. So I'll write that a little bit more neatly up here. Okay, so 4.1 times 5.6 is 22.96 or 22 9600ths. All right, guys, that's multiplication with decimals. Thank you for learning with Testamina Learning Links. I hope you guys have a wonderful night.
I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my